Hi guys, it is Tara back, and I am excited to be sharing with you guys that I am starting up a teaching series. It's going to be called the Soul Work Journey. I'm going to be working through about 52 different lessons over a 28-week period, and I'm wanting it to be as we're walking through this journey. It's like me walking through my own journey as well. So I wanted to do something a little bit more, formal. That way we can go back and we can touch different things. And so I would encourage you through this process, if you choose to follow me, or, I'm sure there's going to be people that drop in and out through different lessons. Comment, share with me what's going on with yourself, or any questions you may have that, I might want to touch on in other lessons. And so, yes, please, I would ask that you help me grow my channel. I am wanting to get more and more of this out. So this is kind of going to be my first go at a series on here. But please like my channel, subscribe to my channel, share my channel if you could, please, and help me grow this. I want to go through and kind of give you the outline of what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to break it up into 4 quarters. And so the first quarter, I'm going to be doing the awakening of the self. Now, not everybody is going to awaken, and maybe your journey started years ago, or maybe it just started recently. It doesn't matter. Those timelines are not linear. Sometimes we have to go through and circle back and do different things. So I hope that there's something, even if you've been doing this for many years, that I can, give that's going to be helpful in that regard. The second quarter is going to be emotional alchemy. Okay, and when we talk about alchemy, what is it? It's a transformation, it's a transmutation. It's, taking the old and forming something new and refined. And so I touch on that in one of my other videos previously. And then the third quarter, it's going to be higher self-embodiment. And then our fourth quarter is going to be awakened leadership. And so along this journey, I'm going to encourage you to have a journal or a notepad, something that you can write your thoughts, feelings, dreams, and whatnot on, because I personally am going to be giving journal prompts. I find them very helpful. There have been many times where I kind of was stuck in my mind. It was like, where do I want to go today? And, I was thrown a journal prompt and it helped just get that going. And I fought journaling for a long time. I've done it on and off over the years, but I started up probably about 2 months ago, and it's probably 3 months ago, I'm sorry. And it's just, I'm able to go back and look at even the progress that I've made, and it just helps me get my thoughts out. And sometimes when you're writing, it just, it helps you get things out of your mind. So with that being said, those are my intentions, journal. I definitely am inviting you guys to join me on this alchemy. And so we're just going to kind of jump in today. Today's more of just like an introduction. So introduction to the journey. It's the alchemy of awakening. Okay. As we awaken, like I said, some have been going at it for years. My calling was at 16. And then I started, seeing a therapist when I was 24. And so there's been this whole journey, for the last 16 years, at least, especially since that healing mentally and emotionally. And I'm still healing. I still have so much that I'm continually to work on. And even though I've gotten past large hurdles, there's still smaller ones that keep creeping up. And so it's been really neat to see how far I've come over this time. But still, going back and revisiting those basics is necessary. So the theme for this is what does it mean to be a spiritual alchemist in your own life? Is it other people's responsibilities, or is it my responsibility? And then, we're going to break down the body, the mind, and the soul, and our emotions. There's different things. And some of us are like, well, it's really my mind that I struggle with, or it's my emotions. And it's all interconnected, but they're all equally important. So why am I doing this? For anybody that's been following me for any length of time, you will know that it's a passion of mine to communicate. It's a passion of mine to teach. It's a passion of mine to share my life experiences to help others learn. So I am wanting to walk through this not only for myself, but for others. And I think that this is a fantastic way of doing that. What does it mean to walk a path of inner transformation? It's becoming self-aware. It's self-exploration. It's, understanding why I do believe and feel the things that I do, and the more self-aware you become, the more rapid that healing becomes. Because if you can understand the world around you and the way you operate within it clearly, it quickly starts changing how you view and operate with everything around you. Instead of reacting to different things, we respond, and that's, I'm going to be going over a lot of the healing when it comes to, the triggers, the traumas, and all of those different things. So, reframing awakening as a process and not a destination. By the way, I'm going to be putting these outlines in the description of my videos so that you guys can go back and look at them. And maybe when I get better at editing, I'll maybe put the writing up on the screen. I could possibly do that now, but I don't want to. It's very time consuming. But we have to understand that awakening is a process. It's not like you wake up one day and it's like, oh, I understand the deeper things of life. It takes work, the journey that I've been on, awakening emotionally, awakening mentally. It's been a process over the years, and I'm going to continue adding on to that. Just when we go up a level, it's like we find a different realm of things that we need to address or, confront. And so it's like parenting. It's like, you have your children, they're toddlers, and it's like, oh yeah, I finally just got this piece mastered. And then they move on to the next diaper size or the next, teaching or, training that we have to do, potty training. And then they go into school. And so each level, there's different things that we have to learn, different things that we can build on top of. And this, just when you're getting them out of the house, then they start having kids of their own. And then we're back into the diaper stage in a sense, but it's different, right? So there's many, many, many things, stages through this journey. The allergies out here, I'm telling you. So what is spiritual alchemy? It's an inner transformation. It's turning the shadow into gold. In one of my earlier videos, I speak on a Greek word. It's HUPOMENO, and it comes from the New Testament. And it talks about a refinement, a process, and how we take, unrefined jewels and gold. We put it through this heat and this very intense process to clear away all the impurities, so that what is left is the pure jewel, the gold. And so that's what we're doing in our own lives. And let me tell you something, that process is very painful at times. It's hard. When you have to really look at yourself, they call it shadow work. When you have to look at the dark spots that you need to work through, it's not very nice to look at sometimes, but it's necessary, because once we identify those dark spots and we're able to change them or, mold them into something else, it turns into something incredibly beautiful, and it all starts coming together in the end, doesn't it? So self is sacred vessel, ongoing refinement. And then we have the 4 domains. So we have our body, obviously our whole body, our mind, our emotions, and our energy, our spirit. So in another video that I had posted previously is, we are energy. We come from energy. So you can call your higher self. Yes, I'm saying higher self. You can call it God. You can call it the universe. You can call it source. You can call it Allah. You can call it whatever you want, but it's all the same entity. Okay. And source, energy, God, it's going to impact all of us in a very, very different way, because we're all incredibly different. I talk about we coming from different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different cultures, different family dynamics, different economical dynamics, we are all so unique. Even identical twins obviously have differences, and God's going to operate even with 2 identical twins very, very differently. So let's keep that in mind. So set the tone with a ritual. So, I have been learning, I've been expanding my mind, opening up my mind. When we start our work day, if you will, there's a routine, a ritual typically that we do in the mornings. Well, when we approach our spiritual life, which is more important than any other routine, or when we approach our spiritual life, it's even more important than every other area. And so what do we do? Do we start with a time of meditation, prayer, journaling, a little bit of reading? How is it? And each one of our routines is going to be very, very different. But I would encourage you to kind of start setting something up every day where you spend at least, 5-10 minutes to be like, what are my intentions today? What do I want to work on within myself? Not just, hey, I want to make it to work safely. It's, I want to have a fantastic day. I want to bring smiles to the people around me, or I want to really start paying more attention to how I feel, or why this bothers me or doesn't bother me. And so we set our intentions, and I prefer in the mornings, but everybody has their own time frame when they want to do that. And then, choose something that will constantly remind you. Sometimes you can do, sticky notes around the house, put yourself affirmations around. I made some affirmations for a friend, and we have some sticky notes around, and so remind yourself constantly to go back and to go back and journal, to pray, to make it a priority in your day. And the fact that you're even here watching this video shows that obviously it's important to you, And so call to reflection, homework, journaling. So I have been working on this journal for quite some time. I actually have some cool stuff in it, feathers that a bird dropped for me actually in South Florida. It was really cool. And so, yeah, I've been journaling. And so the prompts I want to give for you to possibly reflect on, and you don't have to do this. I find it helpful though, because it kind of helps you tie in these little lessons. Where in your life do you feel the call to transform? Okay. Where in your life do you feel the call to transform? I would say for myself right now, gosh, I didn't even think about that. If I were to be focusing on one specific area right now, I would have to say getting established in one place and actually getting more of a steady routine in my own life, I've actually been living like a gypsy here recently, and so I'm about to get more established, and so it's going to be neat to see how all of that evolves with me. And then here's another one. If your soul had a voice, what would it be asking for right now? If your soul, all of who you are, had a voice, what would it be asking? And when you journal, put that pen to the paper and just start writing. Like, just write down everything that comes to mind and just keep going, and you'll be surprised what comes out. So if my soul had a voice, what would it be asking right now? Wow, that's actually, you know what? I'm probably going to turn this camera off, and I'm going to start doing that myself. So that is it for this first lesson. Like I said, I'm going to be putting the outline in the description box below, excuse me. And hopefully I'm going to keep these probably between, 10 and 15 minutes twice a week. So I should be releasing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And do me a favor, please like my video, leave a comment down there. Tell me if there's something you want to hear more about, or if there's something that possibly, stuck out to you. And do me a favor, subscribe to my channel. Please share with your friends. If there's anybody else that's been you've been speaking to about different spiritual things. This is not about any one religion. I'm not doing that. We're not doing any one religion here. I'm not forcing. I'm just encouraging this spiritual development. And it doesn't matter what religion you are. It is for everybody, literally everybody. You could even go listen to, a Buddhist monk, or we have valuable things we can learn from everybody. So walk with me on this journey, and I look forward to what we unfold during this time together. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.